Hello everyone, welcome to Homework Help. If you find the video useful, please subscribe to the channel. So in this video, we'll solve polynomial equations. As per the problem, determine real roots of the equations. And we are given these three equations. So let's start with the first equation. The first equation is given in factored form, but we can factor it more. The first factor in the given equation is 4x squared minus 9. We can factor this expression using difference of squares factoring method. The square root of 4 is 2 and the square root of 9 is 3. So we can rewrite the first factor as we cannot simplify the second factor because there is no sum of squares factoring method. Next, we can break up the first factor using difference of squares factoring method. So this is the fully factored form of the given equation. Now we can analyze the three factors one by one to find the real roots. Let's start with the first factor. We should set it equal to 0 and solve for x. The first step is to subtract 3 from both sides. Next, we can divide both sides by 2. So this is the first real root for the first equation. Now we can analyze the second factor. We should set it equal to 0 and solve for x. The second real root is 3 over 2. Now we can analyze the third factor. We can change x squared to x by applying square root to both sides. Square root of a negative number is not a real number, therefore this factor gives us no real root. So the first equation has only two real roots, negative 3 over 2 and positive 3 over 2. Now we can analyze the second given equation. The second given equation is in factored form. The first factor is a simple trinomial. The second factor is a binomial. We can simplify this equation further by factoring the trinomial. This is a simple trinomial, so we can use sum and product method to factor it. We have to find two numbers that add to 7 and multiply to 12. To find the two numbers, we should focus on the product. We have to think of two numbers that multiply to 12. The first pair of numbers that comes to my mind are 1 and 12. but we cannot get a sum of 7, so this pair is out. The next pair of numbers that comes to my mind are 2 and 6. But we cannot get a sum of 7 from these numbers, so this pair is out. The next pair can be 3 and 4. 3 and 4 add to 7, so this is the pair of numbers we are looking for. So the first factor can be broken down into x plus 3 times x plus 4. Next, we can analyze the second given factor, x squared minus 49. We can break it up into two factors using the difference of squares factoring method. Square root of 49 is 7, so x squared minus 49 can be written in factored form as x plus 7 times x minus 7. So this is the fully factored form of the given equation. Now we can analyze each of these four factors to find the real roots. So let's start with the first factor, x plus 3. We should set it equal to 0 and solve for x. So the first real root is negative 3. Now we can analyze the second factor. The second real root is negative 4. Now we can analyze the third factor. The third real root is negative 7. Now we can analyze the fourth factor. The fourth real root is 7. So the second equation has four real roots. Now we can analyze the third given equation. The third given equation is in factored form, but the given factors can be factored further. The first factor, 2x squared plus 5x minus 3, is a complex trinomial. We can factor it using the crisscross method or the decomposition method. I'll use the decomposition method in this video. We have to find two numbers whose sum is 5, the coefficient of the x term, and the product should be equal to 2 times negative 3, which is equal to negative 6. We have to find two numbers that satisfy both of these requirements. We can find the two numbers by analyzing the product number, negative 6. We have to think of two numbers that multiply to negative 6. The first pair of numbers can be negative 1 and 6. Negative 1 plus 6 is equal to 5. That means the numbers we are looking for are negative 1 and 6. We can use these two numbers to break up the middle term 5x. So we get next we can use the grouping method. We can pair up the first two terms and the last two terms. We can do common factoring from each pair. We can factor out an x from the first pair. and we can factor out a 3 from the second pair. Next, we can factor out 2x minus 1 from these two terms. And we are left with x plus 3. So this is the factored form of the first given factor, 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. So we can rewrite our equation as next we have to factor the second given factor, 4x squared minus 100. We can reduce the two terms in this given factor by doing common factoring or GCF. We can factor out 4 from both terms. And we are left with now we can use the difference of squares factoring method. Square root of 25 is equal to 5. So we can break down x squared minus 25 as x plus 5 times x minus 5. We can move the 4 to the front of the equation. This is the fully factored form of the given equation. Now we can find the real roots. We should set each of these factors equal to 0 and solve for x. Let's start with the first factor, 2x minus 1. The first real root we get is 1 over 2. Now we can analyze the second factor, x plus 3. The second real root is negative 3. Now we can analyze the third factor. The third real root is negative 5. Next we can analyze the fourth factor. The fourth real root is 5. We ignored the 4 to find the real root because 4 is just a constant. It has no x with it. So this equation has 4 real roots. So these are the steps you have to keep in mind to solve a problem like this one. So I hope you'll find this video useful. Please share it, like it, and subscribe to Homework Help. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Bye.